Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Victor Crowley. So we're wrapping up the Hatchet movies here with the final installment to date. Hopefully one day we do get a fifth installment in the Hatchet series. But yeah, for right now we have four, which, hey, I'll take it. That's pretty cool. Four movies, that's solid. So, yeah, it's all good in the hood. But, anyways, we're wrapping up the Hatchet reviews today with Victor Crowley. And first things first, I'm going to give you all my overall opinion. And this is going to sound like kind of a cop-out because I've said this for pretty much all the sequels in this franchise. But, once again, I thought this movie was it was decent. It was all right. There was a lot that I did really enjoy. About this movie, but you know, uh, I didn't absolutely love it, but yeah, it was just it. I thought it was okay. Not not one of my favorite movies, but definitely a decent time. So yeah, there you go. That's my little rating, and now I'm gonna get into a little plot summary. So the movie takes place 10 years after the events of Part Three, and it focuses on Andrew Young, played by Perry Shen, and he survived the events of the last movie, and he wrote this book, and basically he's offered $1 million to go back to the swamp and do this interview for like a true crime show. So he doesn't want to go back to the swamp. Of course, he's got like PTSD. He's very reluctant. He doesn't want to go back. But then, $1 million is $1 million. So he hops on this plane with this production crew, and he goes back to the swamp. And simultaneously, while that's happening, while they're going on a little plane ride, there's this group of young people that are at the swamp as well, and they've enlisted the help of Dylan, played by Dave Sheridan, who's this local guy who has a boat. They're pretty much just using him for his boat, but he's like an aspiring actor, and they're like, you can be in our film. They're not actually doing like a film, they're doing like a mock trailer for a Victor Crowley themed movie. So, that's what Adam Green did to get the funding for the first Hatchet. So, that's the kind of like based on his real life, that little plot element. So that's kind of fun. But anyways, you got this group of young people trying to make this mock trailer, and one of the lines of dialogue in their script is they have to like recite the curse of Victor Crowley. So they like look up all these various YouTube videos of people reciting the curse, and one of the YouTube videos is Tony Todd reciting the curse, or Tony Todd's character Reverend Zombie reciting the curse, and that brings back Victor Crowley, and all like while as the production team with Andrew Young is on this plane, the plane, like, just one thing leads to another. The plane crashes. They land in the swamp, and the group of survivors, they start, they're staying in the plane to try to survive, and the kids who are making the movie trailer are trying to help the survivors, and they're also being pursued by Victor Crowley. So that is the basic plot summary. So first things first, I gotta talk about Felissa Rose, because I'm a total Felissa Rose fanboy. The first Sleepaway Camp is that's a classic, as far as I'm concerned. Straight certified hood classic. Like sleep. The first Sleepaway Camp is fantastic, but the entire Sleepaway Camp franchise, that's like one of my all-time favorite horror franchises. So I got, like a special place in my heart for Felissa Rose. It's just, I don't know, her performance in that movie is just, it's the bomb.com. Like, I mean, she kilted it. But anyways, I've like reviewed a lot of other Felissa Rose movies on the channel. Like, she does she acts in like a lot of other horror movies, and then she also does stuff behind the scenes. I believe she's like writing now, and she produces films. So, I like checking out some of her newer stuff, and I mean even stuff that's like by today's standards a little bit older, like stuff from the 2000s that she did. Like, I'm just a fan of all her stuff. So, she plays a pretty big role in this. She plays Andrew's publicist, and her name's Kathleen. And oh my goodness, she was absolutely hilarious in this, and I thought that was awesome because, since, like I said, since I'm just a total fanboy for Felissa Rose, I listen to like interviews that she's done. Like, there's this, I always mention on here, there's this podcast I like called The Skeleton Crew, and they interviewed her on there a couple times. But anyways, like I've heard quite a few of her interviews, and she's always like really funny in all of her interviews. And I feel like she, like from what I've heard, like of her just chopping it up, talking to people in interviews, she seems very funny, but she never gets to like show that side of herself in movies. She's always playing a victim, a final girl, or a killer, or some crazy person. Like, she never gets to just be funny, and you can tell like she's just a naturally funny person. So I thought she was hilarious in this, and I'm glad that Adam Green like gave her a chance to shine and do something comedic, because that's what I was actually just listening to the Skeleton Crew Hatchet 3 review yesterday, after I did my review, and they were interviewing Adam Green. He was talking about that, where all these horror icons that he has in his movies, he wants to give them like a role that they wouldn't typically get, because they don't get into the business to just play, to just do horror stuff. Like, they like to act. They want to, it's fun to them it's fun for them to do like different roles. So I think it was awesome that Adam Green gave Felissa Rose a chance to do something comedic, and show off her comedic prowess. And I thought Felissa Rose killed it. Like, I mean, he gave her the opportunity, and she just, I mean, totally seized it, totally went hard. She was hilarious. So I had to mention Felissa Rose. And you can't nowadays you can't mention Felissa Rose without mentioning Dave Sheridan, because I mean, they're like a package deal at this point. Every new Felissa Rose movie that I see, Dave Sheridan is in it as well. And Dave Sheridan, he's been in a bunch of stuff, but I mainly know him as Officer Doofy from the first Scary Movie, which that's a great movie. But anyways, Dave Sheridan is in this movie as well, and he was super funny. I mean, he's like a really funny guy, and he just has like he's just like a likable actor. Like, you just see him on screen, he just has this, I don't know, this likable, he just has like this charm. There's just something about him. He just seems like a genuine dude. But anyways, so like I said, Felissa Rose and Dave Sheridan, they're in like countless movies together nowadays. Like, almost every new movie that Felissa Rose is in, Dave Sheridan is in as well. Like I haven't seen all of the movies that they're in together, but uh, there's this movie that came out a couple years ago. Well, more than a couple. It came out like 2020. It's called Camp Twilight. They're both in the movie together. There's this movie called Bloody Summer Camp. Once again, uh, you have Dave Sheridan and Felissa Rose. So it's great to see them, you know, together in this, and I like seeing them together. I like both of them. So I had to mention that connection because yeah, they are in like countless movies together nowadays. Because well, that's what I was thinking. Because this movie came out in 2017, and I don't really recall a movie that they were in together before this. So, you know, a lot of the movies where I've seen them together after this, they came out in like 2020 or later. So what I was thinking of, I think this is the movie where Felissa Rose and Dave Sheridan met and kind of hit it off. Like they must be like friends in real life. Like, I mean, maybe they just really have a great working relationship and they love working together, but come on. I mean, if they're in like every movie together, they have to be like buddies, like off screen. So I don't know if I'm correct with saying this, but I think like this is where they met, and I think this is the first movie that they did together. So yeah, I thought I would mention that. But yeah, shouts out Felissa Rose, shouts out did I say shouts out? I can't pronounce things. Shouts out Felissa Rose and shouts out Dave Sheridan. I mean, they're thebomb.com. They rule. Moving on. Speaking of, you know, actors and actresses that I like, so I mentioned in some of my other Hatchet reviews the reason I decided to watch all these movies again and review them is because you know, when I was reviewing the first one, I was like still watching Holliston, which is Adam Green's sitcom. It's like a sitcom with horror elements. And now, as I'm recording this video, I finished watching Holliston, but you know, I just finished it like the last week or whatever. So that's what kind of gave me the idea to rewatch these and review them. But so one of the characters in this, her name is, the character's name is Rose, but she's one of the characters who's like making the mock trailer, but she's played by Laura Ortiz, who is she's like a main character in Holliston, and she's absolutely hilarious in that show. She's great in this too. She's pretty funny in this, and she's just like awesome in this. So it was cool to see her because, you know, I don't know, that show Holliston, if you have not seen it, that show is so effing good. That's a fantastic show. Like, Adam Green killed it. He went hard. But anyways, it was cool seeing Laura Ortiz, and I think she did a very good job. And then this is like another actor who I recognize. So another guy who's one of the younger people who's doing the mock trailer is played by Chase Williamson, and I recognized him from John Dies at the End, which is a Don Coscarelli movie. Who, like, you know, Don Coscarelli, he directed Phantasm. He did all the Phantasm movies. John Dies at the End it's like one of his newer movies, and it's this crazy, weird sci-fi movie. It's awesome. That's free on Tubi as well. So if you're into like just crazy movies, like that movie it's like Don Coscarelli style. Like, it's like weird, but in the best way. So yeah, it was cool seeing Chase Williamson as well from John Dies at the End, because that's a good little movie. Moving on. I'm gonna stop talking about, you know, actors and actresses, and maybe talk about some of the content of the movie. Actually, who would have thought? But anyways, this in this movie, the comedy is back. The comedy is in full force. You know, the third movie had more of a serious tone, like a lot less comedy. It focused more on the action, and yeah, it was overall just a more serious tone. This one brought back the kind of like silly, goofy comedy, which I've gone on record to say that I like that. That's kind of like a staple of this franchise, in my opinion. But the comedy in this, I thought was pretty good. It was silly, it was goofy, it was fun. I was like laughing out loud quite a few times. So yeah, the comedy definitely worked for me. Just some standout comedic moments. You had like Andrew Young's, I mean not Andrew Young's character, Perry Shen's character, Andrew Young. He's doing like a book signing, and people are like, you know, they want, girls want him to like sign their breasts, and this one guy like wants him to like sign his penis, and he's like not doing it. That was funny. And then basically when Andrew Young is told that like he's told that there's an offer for him to go back to the swamp and do this TV thing and make some money, he's like, no amount of money, I won't do it. And then Felissa Rose's character, who's his publicist, she's like, they've offered $1 million. And then it just hard cuts to like him on the plane, just like looking all upset. That was funny. Everything with Felissa Rose was really funny. She was just like this like sleazy, like stereotypical publicist. She was awesome, and she was just always like taking prescription drugs and offering people prescription drugs. Like, she was funny. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention her kill. Her kill was like her death was like the best kill in the movie. She gets her because she has like her cell phone in her one hand, because I think she's like trying to get service and, you know, make a call for help. So basically, Victor Crowley rips off her arm that's holding the cell phone, and Victor Crowley shoves the arm up her private area, and it goes all the way up through her body, through her mouth, out of her mouth, and like her phone sticking out of her mouth. That was the best kill in the movie. Her kill was awesome, and it was cool that like Felissa Rose was down for that, because that's, you know, like, you know, that's a gruesome kill. Like, some, I don't know, some actresses would not, they'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. You're not gonna do that. Like, that's not cool. But like Felissa Rose just seems like she's like down for whatever. Like, doesn't have like an ego with it. Like, she's just there for fun. She loves making movies. She's down for whatever. So that's cool. And then yeah, like another funny thing with her character is like she's, you know, off all these prescription drugs, that she just sleeps through the whole plane crash. That was hilarious. And then I thought there's this whole thing where like Dave Sheeran's character was trying to kind of flirt with Laura Ortiz's character, and then Laura Ortiz's character, she's like, I have a dick. And then Dave Sheeran's character, he's kind of an airhead throughout the movie. He's like a lovable idiot, you know, and later in the movie he's like, you know, like I really like you, you know, I don't even care that you have a dick. Like, he thought she was serious. And yeah, like Dave Sheeran's character was so funny. Like I said, he's kind of a airhead, so all of his like little like silly, goofy, stupid moments were really funny, and then him like wanting to be an actor was hilarious. And he's like the worst actor. Like, he goes through all his impressions and they're absolutely terrible. So yeah, Dave Sheeran, he was super funny as well. Yeah, the comedy in this, I thought it worked pretty well for the most part. So yeah, good comedy, and I'm glad they brought back the comedy. The one thing that I really did not like about this movie is most of the movie, I feel like it just took place on this plane, and I mean, I felt like claustrophobic watching it. Like I was like, I gotta like get up, I gotta get out of the house, gotta go walk around. I just had that claustrophobic feeling watching the movie, and yeah, I don't know. It was just like they were just in one location for so long, and sometimes that works, but in this movie it didn't work, and there was just not a lot going on. Like you had like the setup in the beginning of the movie was fun, and then like the third act was pretty action packed, but the whole middle seemed kind of like bloated. Like it seemed like the all like the setup for the movie was like short and rushed, and the climax was like short and rushed. The intro and the climax were good, like the setup and the climax were good, but they were kind of short and rushed. But then you just had this like bloated uh, uh, like segment of the movie. Like it seemed like more than just the second act. It seemed like probably 65 to 70% of the movie was just like people standing around on a crashed plane. So yeah, I didn't really like that because it I don't know, it had this claustrophobic vibe, and there was just not a lot going on during that time. Like granted, there was like literally other stuff going on, but like not a lot, to really keep my attention. So yeah, like that's why I said this movie was decent, and I didn't like 100%, you know, enjoy it. Like I thought it was decent, but I didn't love it because they were on the plane for so long, and I was not into that. And I got one more point here before I head out, and I was just thinking about this like before I started recording. So you know, in this movie, when they say they recite like the Victor Crowley curse, it brings him back. Or they don't recite it, but it's like played on the phone. That brings him back. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but I don't remember in like the other movies anyone reciting a curse to bring Victor Crowley back. Like I said, maybe I'm just a stupid dummy, and maybe they did do that. Maybe they did that in the first one, and I just can't remember, even though I just watched it. But yeah, I don't recall that being a thing in the other movies where, you know, someone says the curse and that brings back Victor Crowley. Like they in quite a few of the previous movies, they emphasize the fact that Victor Crowley was a repeater, and he's cursed and he just comes back every night. I thought he just automatically comes back. I feel like they said Victor Crowley was a repeater like 50,000 times in the previous installments. So it's like my understanding that Victor Crowley just comes back automatically every night. Like nightfall, like he's like bound to the swamp. Like he every night he's gonna come back. He's gonna be reanimated and come back and haunt that swamp. So that's what I thought, and the whole element of like someone having to recite a curse and that brings it back. That was just confusing for me, but I don't know. I mean, it's not like that big of a deal. I just found it to be like slightly inconsistent with you know, the kind of like his backstory in previous entries. But I don't know. I just thought I would bring that up because, like, you know, if people in the comments know, like, did a curse bring him back in the other movies? I don't know. I thought he was just a repeater. I thought he came back automatically, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's not that serious. You know, I'm overthinking it, but that's kind of what it's kind of fun to overthink it on these videos. It's like part of the whole point. But anyways, that was the last little point I wanted to bring up. So now I'm going to get into my recommendation, and then I'm going to head out. So I mean, I've pretty much said the same thing for all these movies, and like I said, like I hope it doesn't seem like a cop out, but you know, I thought it was like there was a lot that I liked about this movie, but overall I just thought it was decent. I didn't love it. It's not one that I would, watch on repeat, watch 1,000 times, but overall I did have a pretty decent time with it. So, if you are a fan of the first Hatchet movie, I mean, I would say just honestly watch them all. Even though the after this viewing, I've found that I liked the first Hatchet one more than all the sequels. Like the sequel, there is a lot of fun to be had in all the sequels. I think they're worth watching at least once if you like the first movie. But yeah, like I just yeah, like I really enjoyed these movies more uh, on this watch. Like the last time I watched all the Hatchet movies, I wasn't really into all of them. But like after rewatching them, I feel like I like definitely appreciated these movies more. So if they wanna do a Hatchet 5, like I would definitely support that. I would go out and buy it. I don't own any of these, but I mean I really liked watching Holliston, and I want to check out some more Adam Green movies. So yeah, like if there was like a little end credit scene where you do see Danielle Harris. And then spoiler alert, but a couple of the characters survive in this. Like Perry Shen's character survives, and then Laura Ortiz's character survives. So they could definitely they did set it up where they could do a sequel. So I would say I do recommend Victor Crowley if you're a fan of the first one. It's definitely worth checking out at least once. And yeah, hopefully they do make a Hatchet 5 if that's what Adam Green wants to do, and if they can get the money for it, that'd be awesome. But anyways, that's been my review of Victor Crowley. That's been my review of all the movies in the Hatchet franchise. So thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.